Hello everyone, welcome to FedScoop TV. Greg Otto here. We're coming from Dell's Digital Transformation Summit. I'm talking with Marius Haas, the President and Chief Commercial Officer of Dell EMC. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
So what does digital transformation look like to you in 2017?
It's the acceleration and change in business models we see across multiple sectors of the industry. How do you move faster into developing applications that are more cloud native, as well as how do you provide greater access to the core content and data that allow you to make faster, better decisions across the board. We see huge industries being disrupted by the players that have truly embraced that as a mechanism to drive transformation in the industry and create value for themselves. Now we're seeing every other player, including the federal government, state, local, education, entities also trying to drive a transition towards this new way of doing business.
So we deal with a lot of buzzwords, and on the public sector side, how can we get past those buzzwords and do something that can revolutionize the way the government does business?
Oh, perfect. It is a big, complicated ecosystem, as you can imagine, just like cloud is in everyone's vocabulary as well.
Right.
So how can you take bite-sized chunks out of it and actually start to move the transformation? So one of the examples that we talked about here at the forum was something we did with the Air Force in Qatar. They had a process where on a whiteboard they were mapping out how they would do the in-air refueling of the planes that were doing the missions. Together with some of our technology providers at Pivotal, for example, we created an application platform for them to do all of that in a digital manner. Saved 50% of the time, saved significant money on every single mission. It's just one small example where how you can decompose what is a big problem into a few steps relatively quickly that have immediate impact through a digital transformation lens.
Great. So in DC, there's been a move on the executive side with the White House's executive order, and on the legislature side with the MGT Act. That's really been a push to get agencies away from legacy technology. How do you see policy being a driver of modernization when it comes to the public sector?
Well, we believe the MGT Act is very important in creating a different mindset of we have to modernize if we want to make sure that we drive innovation and transformation within our own ecosystem as fast as what you see happening out in the industry. For example, when we talk to key decision makers on the IT landscape within the federal space, 70% of them say we're on antiquated systems.
Right.
And then 50% of the antiquated systems are already out of support, meaning that they're already end of life, meaning that they will not have new patches, new capabilities to make sure they are secure, right? And everyone obviously has a tremendous focus on how do I secure the environment, not only how do I modernize the environment. So in order to be able to do that effectively and efficiently, you got to be able to drive this new modern environment architecture that enables you to drive a very different application development paradigm.
So finally, digital transformation is more than just taking a form and putting it on a website. Obviously, the examples that you gave are great examples of what it can really do. But how do we get the government to rethink how they're serving their constituents in order to meet a service level that they're familiar with dealing with on a private sector level?
Well, some of the examples that I've already experienced myself, which is more and more of the government entities are starting to engage in more deeper conversations with industry and asking the question, what do we need to do differently, either from a architecture thinking perspective or even from a procurement practices perspective, so that we can move at a different pace and we can also introduce new innovation differently than we had done in the past. Just that momentum alone, I felt already that it starts to foster a conversation of we need to drive innovation, we need to move at a different pace. Our competitors or our threats are moving at a different pace, and unless we move at that pace, we will always be in a catch-up mode. So the dialogue is happening.
Okay.
Now, how do we actually put that into policy? How do we actually put that into practice? Part of it is on our side to make sure that that the ease of doing business with us is seamless, but also how do we help all government agencies, federal agencies to adopt that as well across the board.
Marius, appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
For all of our videos, check out our YouTube channel, and for more on digital transformation inside the federal government, check out fedscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.